was an individual by the name of Jimmy Lee Jackson, who was a part of the night march in Marion, Alabama, which is not far from Selma. His grandfather, K.J. Lee, and his mother were part of the demonstration. There was a police riot, and the state troopers started to beat people, and they chased a bunch of folks into a local cafe, and state troopers assaulted Jimmy Lee Jackson's mother. He came to her aid, and they shot him, and eventually he stumbles out of the cafe and dies. And James Bevel, who's working with the Southern Christian Leadership Conference at SCLC, recommends that they take the body of Jimmy Lee Jackson and walk it up Highway 80 and place it at the steps of the state capitol as a protest against the policies of Alabama, but also of Governor Wallace. That idea morphs into what becomes the Selma to Montgomery March.
We were determined that we were going to march from Selma to Montgomery. We left Brown Chapel Church here and went down to the Edmund Pettus Bridge with the expectation of marching across that bridge on the way to Montgomery.
Here we are in Selma, Alabama. They are praying before they march across the Edmund Pettus Bridge. There's John Lewis, later a congressman, Hosea Williams. There's Andrew Young, former UN ambassador. There's the Edmund Pettus Bridge, and they're marching across. Here we are. What's waiting on the other side of the bridge? Alabama state troopers. That Confederate flag on the front of that trooper car isn't there by happenstance.
A person with a bullhorn said he had orders from the governor not to allow that march to continue. We were asked to disperse, go back to our homes or back to the church. And if not, we would actually be moved. And we had decided we were not going to turn unless we would turn.
The troopers knew there was going to be some trouble, so they put their gas mask on. They stop and they face the troopers. As the head of the state troopers, Major John Cloud, tells them to disperse, well, they don't disperse. And when they don't disperse, the troopers go wild.
So he gave orders for the state troopers to move in on with their billy clubs clutched on both ends, and literally went down the line of marchers, toppling us over. I saw blood flowing. Pandemonium broke out in the crowd, a state of disbelief that this was happening in these United States of America.
Here's John Lewis being brutally assaulted by the Alabama state troopers, as are all the other people who were there peacefully protesting for the right to vote.
The marchers are assaulted by an array of law enforcement officers, and that is beamed across the nation and across the world as the forces in Alabama try to turn back the idea that black people wanted to participate in the political process.
Getting back to that church from whence we had come, I looked into the face of those persons who were able to get back to Brown Chapel Church. Some were beaten on the highway across the bridge. And as I looked into their faces, I saw again a determination that we were ready to really give whatever it took in order to get that right to vote, to participate, to determine the destiny of our lives.